In this lesson, we're going to be discussing the Easy Composites templates and how they are constructed. I highly recommend when you start using Easy Composites in the beginning that you use the pre-made templates. This is going to make it a lot easier for you to use the plugin itself. Creating templates is by far the most difficult part of Easy Composites. If you use the pre-made templates, things are just going to work, and running the plugin is actually pretty easy if you've already got a template that's been made. You can also customize those pre-made templates with your own graphics and rearrange things a bit to customize them. So I recommend doing that first before starting to create your own, and then eventually down the road, once you have a feeling for how they work, then start to create your own templates. So here's an example template here, and this is the one that was in the downloaded files for this webinar. And you can see there's quite a few files here. Now, sometimes you can get away with just having one single file for a template, but if you don't know the exact size of the class, if you're going to use the template for various sizes, you'll need multiple PSD files in a template set. I'm just going to explain that here by doing a test run. This will be a little more self-explanatory once I run a test here. So I'm going to select a test template I have, and in this folder, I've only got one layout, and that layout has 25 image slots. I'm just going to open this, and the class I'm running has got 13 images. So just to show you what is going to happen if you are building a class and you've only got one template file and there's a lot of extra slots. And so you see what happens. It starts filling those slots. And let me open the that test template here. So this was the template file that ran. And this is the result we got because it filled the first 13 slots. And then once it was out of images, all of the extra slots it erased. And then that bottom row, which was actually the third row here, got centered at the end. And this checkbox that says recenter bottom row, if that is checked, after it deletes all of its slots, whatever's left over on the bottom row, it centers. So it doesn't look bad necessarily, but there's a lot of extra space here. So depending on what you're trying to do, you may want to always keep the images the exact same size and just deal with the extra empty space. That's completely up to you. So if you want to design a template that's just got one layout, you can certainly do that. And that would be all you need to actually run it. The third session of this webinar, I get into template design. So I'm not going to get into that here, but just kind of to show you how this works here. And you can see this didn't pull any graphics in, no text elements or nothing, because it was just one layout file only, and there was not a graphics file. All right, so let me run this again. I'm going to now run it using the full template. And that's the one that has all of the files. And in this case, it's going to pick the layout file that has the least amount of extra slots. So in this case, it'll pick the one that's got 14 images. And then it will just delete the 14th and recenter that bottom row. It's also going to merge that with the graphics file. And the graphics file is optional, but I'll kind of explain how that works once it builds here. It's optional, but it allows a completely finished template with your custom graphics and custom text. All right, so you can see that it did grab that template file that had 14 slots. It removed the 14th and recentered that bottom row because we had this row checked. Now it's brought in the graphics, and the text is just using the placeholder text. By the way, we'll get to that in session 2 of the webinar, but if we were to use a data file, we could actually get it to automatically replace this text from the data file. You can do that whether it's running batch mode or just single mode. If you use a data file, you can replace this as well. But for the purposes of this first session, I'm not using the data file yet. All right, so just how this works is it's going, let me open up. I'm going to open up that template or those 2 template files. So the first thing it does is it opens up this layout file. And then if there is a file called easycomp-graphics.psd, and it's got to be exactly like that name, all caps. If that file is present, it's then going to open up this file and it's going to merge these 2 files together. The reason I set it up this way is that way if you want to add a custom graphic, you're not going to have to add that custom graphic to every single one of these layout files. And if you want to change your graphics down the road, you're not going to have to change it for 15 or 20 files. You only do it in one place. So for example, if we wanted to change the background color that this is going to run, you can have a background color in your graphics file. You save it like you want. And then no matter how many images are in the layout, it's going to combine it with this particular graphics file. And you can put in your own custom graphics in the background. You can use your own text elements, whatever it is you want to do. So there's 3 sections to this graphics file, and only 2 of them are visible in the final build. You've got overlays, styles, and then background, and these are in folders. So any custom items you want to add or change have to be within these specific folders with these specific names. And like I mentioned, the pre-made graphics file already has all these set up for you. We're just going over it so you understand it. So if you want to edit these later, you can do that. So in any case, there's these folders here, and it's going to take these folders, Easy Comp Overlays, for example, and when it builds, it's going to, like I say, first open this layout, and then wherever it has the Easy Comp Overlays placeholder, it's going to find this empty layer and it's going to move that folder into this position. So you can see here, we've now got this Easy Comp Overlays folder that it merged into the layout file. It's going to do the same with the background. It's going to go and take that background folder and merge it in to the final composite that it builds. So really not too difficult once you understand how that works. And then there's one final item, and this tutorial, this is going to be part of the last lesson, but I'll just mention it here. There is the styles folder. Now this folder, if I show it here, you can see all of these slots and these text with different colors. What this is meant to do is to add custom styling. Let's say you wanted red header text or yellow name text or orange borders around your image or drop shadows or anything that can be added to a layer style, you can add here. And it's going to get those layer styles from these drop downs here to apply to all of the images and all of the text in your final build. Like I say, that's for the last lesson. I'm going to stop this lesson right now, and then we'll have a Q&A session. And so if you have any questions, go ask those now, and then I'll answer those live, and we will go into Photoshop and discuss any questions you have. But then after that, final lesson, we're going to go into, I'm going to show you how to apply those custom styles automatically to really spice up the look of your design and automatically change it without having to do any custom Photoshop work after it builds.